Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Would like to begin. Well, I knew it would be 8 o'clock, so it's 3 seconds past, so we're on time. I'd like to give it to Maulana Sahib first.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Okay, before we go any further, we'd like to welcome you to the HIC 8-step guide to help you during your difficult times. So this is when, unfortunately, when someone returns to their maker. And we've got on the panel Maulana Sahib, Hassan Uncle or Hassan Mama, or Muki, so it'll be called all three in today's session, and either Istiaq Ba or Istiaq Uncle. He's joined us on the panel as well. Before we go any further, the Ghusl and Burial team would like to acknowledge a few of their members who have helped them over the last 30 years and would like you to remember them with their Surah Fatiha. They would like you to if there are any names that are forgotten, please forgive us. We've tried to remember as many as we can over a space of 30 years, so please do forgive us. So we'll get started on the 8-step guide, which I'm going to just say next slide. Thanks. So our 8 steps that the team would like to introduce you to are as follows. So what is the process when someone passes away? How to move this loved one from where they pass away to the mosque. We'll split that into 2 sections. So it will be, for example, if they pass away at the hospital and what's the processes, and also the processes if someone passes away at home, because the legality is quite important, especially if someone passes away at home. We need to bring your attention to that. We're going to do a very basic overview of the ghusl and the kafan at mosque. The reason why it's just going to be a very basic overview is in December, we'll do a training session where we have someone who's volunteered to be wrapped in the coffin. We're going to be placing them in the coffin as well, so you can see how the mayyit looks inside the coffin with the soil and how we position and everything like that. So that will be in December. So we'll just briefly touch on here, and then in December we'll really go into further depth on that. We're going to talk about when we move the body from here and we take it to Qabristan, what happens at Qabristan. So you may have, you may be there from far and you witness, but sometimes there are things that happen up close that you may not know. So in this instance, the team would like to inform you of that. What happens to the burial program after, so when you come back to mosque, and also the aftercare that's available from the mosque to you, especially when you've lost a loved one. So so you don't get bored of my voice, we're actually all going to take turns, and we've got a question section as well. There is a question that I'll ask at the end which has a prize. So you have to have a very good eye because the clue has already been on the first slide. And later on it'll appear on slide 6 as well. So if you're good at keeping count, keep count, because there is a prize available. And when I click on the clicker and it goes next slide. So step one, what happens when a loved one returns? So the team have informed me that this should be the process of what to do when someone passes away. If someone passes away, you need to ensure that the souls are facing towards Qibla. Ensure that you close the eyes gently. Normally they suggest the thumb and the finger to place down the eyelids. This obviously will be difficult. I understand it's a very emotional time as well. But they would suggest closing the mouth. And the reason obviously why is because it's important to have it closed. And they would suggest using a cloth that would go around the head in order to keep it closed. Also, if they're on a pillow, they would ask you to remove that pillow. Unfortunately, due to rigor mortis, it would set with the pillow there, so it would be uneven. So this way, with removing the pillow, would keep the mayat straight in terms of the back. So you'd need to tie both feet together, again using a piece of cloth. The suggestion again would be to remove any jewelry, simply again because it would be, unfortunately, I will be very honest if that's okay with you all. You'll have to remove the jewelry because if rigor mortis sets, it will be very difficult in order to remove any jewelry that is on the body. And we're going to have some du'as. We're going to get them printed, but we're actually going to put all of this on the website so you can refer back to it all the time, so you don't need to worry about pictures, and everything will be on the website. And of course, the important step is to let the Jamaat Secretariat know, because you'll see in the following slides, the Jamaat Secretariat has a pivotal point role for you, and you'll be liaising with the Jamaat Secretariat a lot during this process. Less with the actual burial team, but more with the Secretariat, and that's key. When I go onto the next slide, magically, also once the body is, you've covered all these steps, it would be important for you to cover the body as well. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. I'll pass it over to Istiaq Kanku, who's going to talk about the next step, which is the movement of the mayat.
Assalamu alaikum. At the death of the person at the hospital, for the body to be released, the doctor needs to certify the death certificate of the hospital. Instead of following all these stages here, there are a few places where a person can pass away anywhere. But basically what we are interested in is when a person passes away at the nursing home or at home or hospital. All the procedures and everything are all different. So you have to make sure that, I know it's a very emotional time for somebody who passes away. The emotions are running very high. And you don't start arguing with the people who are in charge or the doctors or anybody. That's the last thing you want to do, is to upset any member of the staff. So you got to deal with them very professionally. Before, what used to happen before COVID, we used to go and assist the family members, and we would deal with the matter ourselves, encouraging them and show them how to talk to the people. And then we would take over, and they would give us the authority for us to communicate with the doctors. But nowadays, we are not allowed to do that. Only the close family members are allowed to communicate with the staff at the hospital or nursing home or wherever it might be. So you have to be very calm and these emotions are running high. The other thing is once the mayat and everything is taken, the body is taken from the hospital, for instance, where the person has passed away, the body is taken to the mortuary. And at that time, only one member of the family member is allowed. But what usually happens is they are not allowed to touch the body or look at the body or anything. They just come inside the mortuary, where I've got a team of 2 other people as well with me. We'll go in there, we'll sign all the necessary forms, we'll check it's the right body. Obviously, we don't want to take a wrong body back and bring it back to the mosque. We'll make sure, and then the only time we are not sure if there is any mistake, but that has happened in the past, where we've gone in, they said, is this the person? We'll go and look at it, the tag in the hand, and it was the wrong person. So we had to say, no, this is the wrong body. So at that time, we didn't have a member of the, from one of the members of the family. So what we did was we were fortunate enough to say, no, this wasn't it. So they brought the right body back in, and then we got the family member involved. This could have been very, very emotional and very bad for the person. So we managed to rectify that. So it's very important when they assist us, they stay on one side, and when they are needed, we call them forward and they can assist us. Once that has been done, then what we do is we have to inform the Jamaat Secretarial to make sure the secretary will get in touch with the appropriate people regarding ghusl and kafan. So for instance, if it's a gentleman, the secretary will get in touch with the Muki, and he'll organize a team for the mayat. And then I've got a team, we organize, we go to bring the body here to give ghusl, and then the kafan has been carried out by the Muki and the team. All the necessary forms, which are very, very important now. Before, we used to get a hard copy of all the paperwork, but now everything has been online. Whatever you do, everything's done online. We don't see any hard copy of whatsoever. The only thing we see is when one of the family members who goes to the registrar office to get the death certificate, they will be given a green form. That's the only green form that we physically see. Everything else is done online. The other important thing is once we collect the body, the family member will get in with the secretary, and the secretary will get in touch with the registrar office. And it's very crucial that the secretary will say this is a cultural death. And if that cultural death word is not mentioned to them, then we won't get an appointment straight away, and the burial won't take place on the same day. So sometimes you got to remember, we try our utmost best to try and bury the body ASAP as soon as possible. But under circumstances, when we don't get an appointment, you don't use the correct sentence, correct words, that we won't get an appointment on the same day, and we won't get the certificate, and we won't get the green form. So that's why people come and complain to us afterwards. How come last time there was a burial at this time, at this stage, they were buried at the same day, and this person is buried on the different day? So there are circumstances where people have to understand. Emotions are running very high, but we do our best. Once the appointment is given, the secretary will get in touch with the family member, and they have to go to the registrar after the secretary has made an appointment for them. It's very crucial. They go down there, the given specific appointment time, and they are not late. Once they go down there, it's best to get 4 copies of the death certificates. For instance, if there's an elderly gentleman, somebody passes away, then the pension department will want to have an original copy of the death certificate. They do not accept any photocopies. Before, there used to be about £4 a death certificate. So people used to get about 6, 7, 8, doesn't really matter. But the prices have gone up to nearly 20 to 22 pounds a copy now. But it's still cheaper to get it now than you apply for it later on. Once everything is done, once the death certificate has been given, they'll be issued a green card. Now, with that green card is very crucial. If the green card has not been forwarded to the crematorium, the burial won't take place. So green card has to be issued, scanned, or taken a picture, send it to the secretary, and the secretary will forward it to Peterborough crematorium. Basically, this is when somebody dies at the hospital. But if somebody passes away at home, the family members must get in touch with the police straight away. Even though it's been a long illness, it doesn't really matter. The police or ambulance will come down, and they will examine the body and make sure the body has passed away, and they'll give you not a certificate, but a piece of paper saying, right, this body can be moved now. So this is where my team will go and pick the body up. We have been, in the past, people have gone in touch with us saying, can you come and pick the body up? And we say, have you got a piece of paper and everything? And they will say, no. The police and the ambulance said, you can move the body. But I said, without the certificate, without a piece of paper, we can't move the body at all. If we move the body, and for instance, if there was some funny circumstances of the death, then we will be liable. We can be prosecuted. But even though you say take the body to the mosque, which we would like to do, but we're not allowed to touch it unless we have the right authority. Once that is done and we bring the body to the mosque, what happens next is that once, it depends what time the death has happened. If it's happened in the afternoon, then they can get in touch with the GP. And if it's a long illness, then the doctor will certify the death because he's got the full history of the person who's passed away. Once he gives us a certificate, then this is where we have to follow the procedure of getting in touch with the secretary. Hence, we go down there and get the death certificate and the green card. And, well, that's basically about it. And this is how we move the body and everything. But when we move the body and everything, we've got to make sure that it's put in the coffin and the head has been moved first forward and everything, and we bring the body here in the mosque. Asante.
Thank you. Just a quick note, you must take ID with you when you go to to meet the registrar at the registry office, otherwise they will not take any steps further. So you will need a passport and driving license and any other identification of the deceased. Okay, the next step is the mayat at the mosque, which I'll pass on to Asmama.
Assalamu alaikum jamia wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mu'minin stage 4, mayat at the mosque. Sorry, I think I need to go to Specsavers. It's stage, my apologies. Stage 3, mayat at the mosque. If you have your own kafan for your beloved, please make sure you hand it to the Ghusl team as soon as possible. The reason is sometimes the kafan that is provided by the Jamaat has been put on, and then the family turns up and says, we've got a kafan for the maroon. On the day when Mesam says, we will explain you exactly what the Karbala's kafan is all about, and also the kafan that we put it on the mayat here. So if you do have a Karbala kafan, it is important to hand it to the Ghusl Kafan committee. If it's in the gents, they hand it to me. If it's in the ladies, it's usually the chair lady and her or one of her team members. Now, this is also very important. Ishtiaq Bhai always make sure there is somebody from the family member who accompanies back with him to the mosque. So it's very important that the guardian or the waris of the marhum is here, because we will need to ask the permission from the guardian. This is because Mayat is placed into the responsibility now of the Ghusl team. Only this applies to gents. My sisters, I don't know what happens in the ladies' Ghusl room when there is a ladies' Mayat. But in the gents section, we will only allow 4 people from the bereaved family to be in the Ghusl Khana, and then there'll be the 2 leaders in case they need any guidance. The Mayat is now been placed into the Ghusl room. The Mayat, as you all know, has to go through the Ghusl, which takes 4 Ghusls before it's tahir, before the kafan is put on. Once the Ghusl has been done, Ishtiaq Bhai brings the body into the kafan area, and then Murtaza Bhai Walji, Marum Ramzan Bhai's son, and myself, with the family members, we guide them how exactly the kafan is put on. A family member has to be present throughout, so that this is an important part. Before we put the kafan on, we have to ask their permission, and also they have to be present for hunut as well. The mayat is then placed into the coffin. If we are going to bury the mayat within a couple of hours, if not, we will be keeping the mayat in the cooler overnight until the next day for the mayat to be buried.
Okay, we'll go on to the next slide.
Mu'minin, when we do hunut, the people who have the guardian appointed to do the hunut, they would ask us exactly what is hunut. So for fiqh masals, we are very honored to have Maulana Maqbul Hussain Alvi Sahib, and he will exactly guide you exactly what is hunut. Maulana Sahib.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hunut, inshallah, I hope that you know all fiqh issues, and this is a good session that as practically or as legally you are talking, this is also need that you read fiqh issues about mayyat. For example, as Mesam said that from first step, this is a one wajib starting from put this mayyat who is going to die, put him toward Qibla. So from there, this wajib starts. So hunut is one of these wajibat. And the hunut is that 7 part of sajda. We have a kafur, and you can mix a little bit khak shifa with it, and put a little bit both things on 7 parts of sajda. So this is a hunut and this is a wajib. So it's better that when we finish ghusl, before kafan, if we put this hunut, so this will be easy and better time.
Shukriya, Maulana Sahib.
We're going to go on to the next slide.
Now, Mu'minin, as I said earlier on, the mayat might have to stay overnight, or we might be burying them within a couple of hours after they've been passed away during the daytime hours. If the mayat is resting at the mosque, it is very important that the immediate family members and their close friends to be present here throughout the night time. The Jamaat is very kind, and we salute our Jamaat. They provide everything if you have to stay overnight. There will be things provided in the kitchen: coffee, tea, biscuits, bread, whatever you would like to have during the night while you're staying here. You're very welcome to come. The general can come and stand behind the partition. it is extremely, extremely requesting humbly that when the screens are being laid out, that means that area has been cordoned off. Do not move, I humbly request, do not move the screens when we are putting the coffin on, because it's very uncomfortable for the bereaved family, and also it's uncomfortable for Murtaza Baiwalji and myself as well, because sometimes it is not right to do while we are preparing the mayat. If you are unable to remove the personal belongings, as Mason said, the rings, the chains, whatever, right? If we are able to take it out, we will, but Agha's Fiqh Masail say, do not put aziyat to the mayat. Handle the mayat as if it's just been born. So that's very important, as Mason says. As soon as the beloved has departed, you must remove the rings, chain, wristwatch, whatever you have there. Okay. Then the personal items, if sometimes we have to take it out here in the Ghusl Khana, and the same thing applies with the ladies, is that we would give the personal belongings to the guardian so that they are in the right position for the family. Next slide, bye. We'll now pass on to Brother Ishtiaq, who now takes over once we have prepared the mayat, overnight stay in the cool freezer. If daytime, then straight into the coffin. And this is where Ishtiaq Bhai will take over, how we move the mayat from the HIC towards Qabristan.
The movement of the mayat, final respect and viewing will take place at this moment at your loved ones for forgiveness. What happens is that once the mayat and everything is in the mosque, and we got to transfer the money, if the body stayed here overnight, we transfer the body from the cooler to the coffin. And the coffin is placed in the direction of the Qibla. The partition is here in the mosque. All the ladies will be on one side, and the closest relatives will be with the ladies there, saying the final goodbye and everything. And then once the namaz or everything is prepared, for instance, the mayat is in the afternoon after Zohar and namaz, the mayat will be moved. But before the mayat is moved, the ladies will be requested to go on to the other side of the room, excuse me, so that we can carry on with the namaz and mayat. And it's very important that when the namaz and mayat is reciting, there's a connection between the gents and the ladies. And the mayat is taken to the cemetery after the namaz has been recited. I'll pass to Maulana Makul Hussain Bhai to say a few words about namaz and mayat.
About namaz mayyat is wajib kifai, as all of you hopefully know. That wajib kifai mean is that this is necessary, but if somebody prayed this namaz, so this is not wajib for others. So what important thing is what I saw here in mosque many times, that many of us, we don't remember namaz janaza. This is a very short du'as. And I will say that as you feel that this is better that we pray for our dead body, our people, they passed away. So try to remember namaz-e-janaza. So namaz-e-janaza, we have a two type. This detailed namaz-e-janaza, mostly what we have, this is 3 or 4 sentences in every dua. So this is in Shia, we say 5 takbira, and in between takbirat, there are 4 duas. So I will request here that this is a very important part of this mayyat that we came here and we want say Khuda Hafiz to him. So if we say through these du'as, so it will be very good. But if you don't remember, we can read with the pesh namaz. We can recite with the pesh namaz. So, and again, mostly Maulana, who is leading namaz-e-mayyat, they ask permission of wali. Hopefully a wali is a different type of people, have a different wali. So anybody who is a wali for mayyat, he try to give permission to Maulana for namaz-e-mayyat. I think I don't want to go in detail, so at the end, if there is any special question, so you can ask and we can discuss at that time.
Just a quick mention in stage 5. It says, in this moment, you know, you ask your loved one for forgiveness. We all know that, you know, you're going to be very emotional. It's a very tough time, and you're saying your final goodbyes. So, you know, you go down, you know, you go near the head, you ask your forgiveness to the person, and you also say thank you, right? And that you'll always remember this loved one. If we go on to the next step, I think it's yours. Yeah.
Once the namaz and mayat and everything has been decided, we said goodbyes and everything. It is very emotional for the ladies, but you got to remember one thing: we got a deadline, and once we finish the namaz mayat, when we take the body to the Karbistan, it's important that the ladies say Khuda Hafiz very quickly, so we can move the body. Now, if we are delayed taking the body to the cemetery, there's a big fine for us to pay. At the end of the day, I know money is not important, but at the end of the day, the diggers and everybody are waiting for us. They have to go home. And if we don't reach the cemetery on time, then we have to put all the mud and everything ourselves. And sometimes we don't have enough people to help and assist us, and it's very difficult. So it's not that we don't want to delay. We don't want to keep the body here, and we don't want to take it there, if you see what I mean. But it's for the loved ones. It's not very easy, but we have to do that. But we're not pushing them, but we got deadlines to meet. That's the only reason why we are doing that. The mayat is taken to the final resting place where it is rested 3 times on the way to Manzil. So what happens is that once we reach the cemetery, we take the mayat out, we lift it up on our shoulders, and we rest it. We walk about 5 yards and put it down, and pick it up again, follow 5 yards, put it down again. We do that in 3 ways. The immediate family should be present when it is on the grave. When the body is reached on the grave, the family members are asked to come next to the grave so that we can say their final goodbye and everything, and then we have to recite some du'as and everything. If it's a ladies, what we do is we cover the coffin with a cloth, and the only very close relatives are assisted here. And then talqin is recited when the family are around the coffin. When the mayyat has been placed into the grave, the immediate family should step away, and then they are not allowed to put any mud because it's makruh for them to put the mud. So we ask the relatives to move away and ask the general public to come and pay their respect, where they'll come put the mud 3 times and ask them to move away so that the diggers can come in and fill the body of the grave up. After that's been done, the family members will be requested to put the water on the grave. And after that, we recite du'as and du'a Surah Alhamdulillah, Surah Qadr 7 times. And after the gents have moved away, the ladies are allowed to come and pay their respect by saying Surah Fatiha on the grave and everything. Once they have done, they must move away as quickly as possible. Then the last person of the family member or Maulana or somebody will stay behind and recite a talqin on their own. Once that is done, this suggests the family organize tabarruk for those people who have attended the mayyat. if they are traveling from far apart, when they come in, so if you have some sort of a tabarruk like bananas, apples, or whatever, it'll help them, and then we all come back to the mosque. I'll pass it on to Mesam now.
So we're going to ask Maulana Sahib to explain a few things in depth. So, for example, he'll discuss to you about or inform you about the talqeen, the manzil, why you can't put the soil in. We're just obviously just finalizing, so I'll just pass it over to Maulana Sahib.
I think we must put our Islamic issues in two parts. One is a wajib and one is a mustahab. And some of these things are our cultural thing. So sometimes we give too much importance to culture. And anyhow, wajibat is that when we reach to Kabristan, as Ishtiaq we said that there is a manzil. So what is a manzil? It told us that how difficult it is to go that part of this earth. And what I think it is more informative or more knowledge for us than a mayyat, because mayyat pass a very hard time from death till now. But this is an important thing for us, that we know that how difficult is going to this qabr. So this is, I don't saw any reason, what you say, philosophy of that, why we have this 3 time. Because in Sharia, in this issue, lots of things are that we don't know properly is, what is the reason behind this. For example, when we say this wajibat itself, for example, putting mayyat toward Qibla. So what is the reason of this? So these are not everything is that we say that we know reason or there is a reason. Sometimes reason is that we are following the order of our maraji or order of hadith or order of Allah. So this is not necessary that we know order of everything or this reason of everything. So lots of questions are on that base. For example, we don't know reason of that, why this namaz fajr is 2 rakat and namaz zuhr and asr is a busy time and this is a 4 rakat. So again, when you are free, this is evening and there is a 3 rakat. And so this is order of Allah, we must follow this. One reason is that are we following to order of Allah or not? Yeah, this is one reason itself, which we call it ubudiyat. We are his servant or we are thinking about own thoughts. So anyhow, this is a talqeen. Talqeen is, as I said that in the beginning, when somebody is on that stage, halat-e-ihtizar, what we call it, that he is going to die. So important thing is that we try to talqeen him shahadatain. And ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, or kalima, what we say. And sometime if there is a long period, we can recite Surah Yasin or some part of Quran. This is not necessary there, Surah Yasin, but it is better to recite Surah Yasin or any part of Quran. So this is one important thing that time. So talqeen is like this, that when we have a departure of our beloved one, so what he or she was doing in this world, we are trying together. Remember ourselves and also for him or her, that what you had in this world, what you was have akidah, so you are going on same akidah. So this is for both, for a person who passed away and for those they are here to say him Khuda Hafiz. So this is a talqeen. But through talqeen, we can understand that what is importance of these things. For example, who is your Lord, who is your Prophet, who is your imams, and they about day of judgment and about death itself. So when we are saying al-maut haq, this is a part of talqeen. So he passed this part of life, for he is in maut now, and he know this, or she know this is a haq. But this is also for us that maut is haq. When I am looking this and how quietly you are sitting, this is telling us that, yeah, maybe next time is that we are calling to Ishtiaq way that, okay, be ready for us. So this is things that we learn for ourselves. मैं इसको ये देख रहा हूँ कि हम सब इस अंदाज में चुप करके बैठे हैं कि भी नेक्स्ट टाइम जो है वो हमें इश्तियाक भाई को कॉल करना है कि जनाब हमारी बारी आ गई. तो इंशाल्लाह बारी तो सब की आनी है. Somebody is late, somebody is early. So this is a talqeen. Talqeen is actually that, yes, what we had our aqidah in this life. And myself, for example, if I am reciting talqeen, so I can understand what is important for this part. I say to myself, and time I do for myself, I say to all of my students that once in life, sit down yourself and put your own hands on your own shoulder and recite once this talqeen yourself. So this will be a look very good that we are ready for this. And if there is something wrong, so we can learn this. So manzil, Ishtiaq Bhai mentioned this, that manzil is a mustahab thing. This is not wajib. But thing is that 3 times before reaching to Qabr, we put this mayyat properly on the land and then take him up. And if this is a mayyat of man or woman, it make a difference from which side we will put it, him or her in Qabr. If this is mayyat of a man, so his head will go first in Qabr, and therefore this is a lady, so this will we will put after the 3rd time, we will put it inside of Qibla of Qabr, and then from Qibla side, ladies will go to Qabr. So this is a small thing. As I said, this is a wajib. We try to do this, but if not, this is not a big issue. And why we put this sand in grave? So this. Okay, so there are 2 things are this. As beloved as we are saying Khuda Hafiz to him, but we must put his face on this mud, or what you say, khak. So this tell us that what is our this life and what is our end. Who had as much as wealth or houses or things like this. I was reading Najulullah letter 3 that Imam Ali alayhi salam is saying to Shuraih, Qazi Shuraih, that he bought a house, and when Imam heard, Imam said that Shuraih, you take very important 4 things. But you see that when Malakul Maut will come, he will don't ask you where is this property deeds from you. And he will don't ask from you that who is your witness for this property. He will take you from without permission of anybody from this house, and then you will put it in Qabr alone and alone. So this is this part that we must understand through these. Why the Sharia say that we go to Qabristan, try to once a week for Friday or like this. So because we can remember ourselves that this one day we will come here. And I know lots of people that they were going to Qabristan very regularly, but Qabristan was not able for them to bury there in this. For example, Peterborough, this is 31 years. When I try to go weekly base to Qabristan. This time we went, me and my wife went to Kabristan. I was talking that I don't know that this is the next one is for us, or this next part of this Kabristan is for us, or maybe this is not any part for us in this Kabristan. So when we are putting these type of things, land, so we can pray, oh Allah, this is a part of life, and this is longer than here. So this make us, give us tawfiq to make ready for to ourselves for properly going to that part. अगर कहीं कोई अंग्रेजी हमारी गड़बड़ हो तो माफ़ कीजिएगा. Yeah, this is this one part is that why this family members are not allowed to put land. Again, as I said, that this is not necessary that we know reason of this. I haven't read any reason in any Tawzil Masail that why this is. But maybe this is because they send away their beloved, and maybe it affect on their thoughts. So one reason can be, but we don't know, and this is not necessary that we know reason of this. This one important thing is that we mostly in our culture, in Indian Pakistani culture, we saw that Fatiha mean this Alhamdulillah. In Kabristan, you will don't see in Tawzil Masail Afatullah Sistani that this is the Fatiha. This is the 7th time of Surah Qadr. So it is mustahab, as Ayatollah Sistani wrote here, that when you buried this your beloved one, so put your fingers on cover and recite 7 times Surah Qadr. And when we say Fatiha, this I don't want to go in detail of this issue, but when we say Fatiha, this is one is a Fatiha. But one other thing is that this is used to in our culture also, and hadith also, that a person who recite 3 times Surah Qul Huwallahu Ahad, it's mean he complete a Quran. So try to, when you are reciting Alhamd, try to recite 3 times Surah Qul Huwallahu for this. But for Qabristan, if you are going visit to Qabr, or you are sitting on first day or first time of this Qabr, so try to recite 7 times Surah Qadr, inshallah.
Stage 7 is after burial, the program at the Husaini Islamic Center. Usually there'll be a Fatiha Khani at the mosque, which includes the Siya Kanyas. A family member is also humbly requested to give a speech, or any of their family friends. If there are any deaths for the buried, family has to make sure that they announce it, that the deaths, if there are any, by the buried person, then they have to approach their waris to clear the debts. The family members and the Jamaat members are highly, highly recommended to take sadaqah for the maroon. It is highly recommended as well, if you hear of anybody passing away in this world, it is highly recommended that you do take sadaqah of their maroon. This really applies to the family members. It's highly emphasized and it's highly recommended. And I always go make sure that I whisper in the family members who have been through their family bereavement, making sure, please, can you make sure you come to the mosque to pray namaz-e-wahshat. It is extremely important for the family members to make sure that they are here for namaz-e-wahshat, because that first night of the qabr is a very tough one, as Maulana Sahib said. You have to pray for the maroom's maghfirat. So there are some people who would say, yes, I have gone into their ears and I whispered, can you please make sure you and your family members are present here, especially for namaz-e-wahshat. I know it's been a big, long day for you, but after the burial, your family members are responsible for the maghfirat and the du'as for the first night of burial. Now, this is very important. This will be reviewed shortly, but it depends how we go along. For the last 33 years plus, I've been in the Ghusl Kafan committee, and the PBS does not, I emphasize, does not cover the cost of the coffin. The coffin cost presently is £40, and I again go and whisper to the person who has passed away, their guardian, or the chair lady would turn around and say, please make sure that the £40 is paid to the Treasury Office before even the mayat has been moved to the Qabristan. There's just one thing I would like to touch upon where Ishaq Bhai has always said so. You know, when your beloved passes away, you will be there to, as Mason says, to shut the eyes, to put the arms on the side, the legs are facing towards Qibla. Remember that whoever touches the person skin to skin, it is wajib that you do must say mayat. Sometimes people in the state of the emotions and the upsets, they can forget it. But you must make sure that if you have touched the mayat while you're straightening the mayat or putting the hand straight, it is body contact, skin to skin. You must, this is a wajib, you have to do ghusl masse mayat, please. I'll request Maulana Maqbul Hussain Sahib to emphasize a little bit, as I emphasize very strongly, what is namaz-e-bahshat and why is it so important?
Namaz-e-bahshat is, as Hassan Bey said, it is very important. And in hadith, this is mentioned that best gift for your marhum and first gift after his death you can give to him is namaz-e-wahshat. So word wahshat, this is it's a very hard word, that wahshat. Wahshat in our Urdu, it said, is that this is a difficult time for a mayyat. So best gift, you can say that namaz-e-wahshat is the best gift for a marhum and first gift of. And then reciting of this is 2 rakat namaz, and in first rakat after alhamd ayatul kursi, and second rakat after alhamd is 10 times surah inna anzalna laylatul qadr. And after salam there are some duas, and this is, but one thing is that we must be careful, and this is a Jamaat issue, that now our people, they are not very keen, and they don't give importance to namaz-e-wahshat. I saw myself that if you announce namaz-e-wahshat, so maybe from 20, 30 people, 3-4 people are there. And again, now we start mentioning one, the namaz-e-wahshat or namaz-e-hadiyah mayyat. Hadiyah mayyat, you can pray 2 rakat nawafil, and then you can go, okay, this 2 rakat nawafil sawab is going to hadiyah for this. So one reason is that what we try, that everywhere in the world, any person is belong to us, so we know from far from us, so we say, okay, that person passed away in there, and namaz-e-wahshat. So it's mean that people have a wahshat from namaz-e-wahshat itself. So this is a very difficult situation. So try to this, how long it will take. Was Ayatul Kursi and 10 times Surah Qadr. So in this hope that if we will recite, somebody will recite for us, inshallah.
So we'll go on to the last stage, which is stage 8. Which is the aftercare that is available for you. So there's a few recommendations that the team have stated on stage 8. Oh, there we go. And the suggestion is for the Fatiha Khani, for example, to be done at mosque for the following 3 to 5 days, because we know it's a very tough time, especially for the family. And I know a lot of people would have loved your loved ones and will want to pay their respects to your loved ones. And it can become very overwhelming, you know, everyone coming at all hours to your house. I think it's a beautiful thing, but it can get very overwhelming. So the suggestion by the team, the burial team, is to have Fatiha Khani after Maghrib Namaz for 3 to 5 days. It's up to you to allow the Jamaat, the members of the Jamaat, anyone, family and friends, to come and pay their respects to you for your loved one. Normally, you would also organize the Tabarruk, so you can organize that with the Secretariat and obviously the volunteers team as well, Shokadonko, for example, but obviously the liaison with the Secretariat, and then she'll inform. And also the welfare team will get in touch with you as well. So the welfare team at HIC will get involved, and they'll make sure that, you know, they're helping you over the next few steps. We know it's a very, very tough procedure. Before we obviously move on, what I would like to say is that obviously both Istiaq uncle and Hassan uncle, when they do these things and it's in the process, they mean no ill, they mean no harm. They have, you know, they're not being negative. You can see there's a lot to go through. The procedures are very long. You know, the timing is very key. So when they are making suggestions, for example, for the mayor to make a move, they're not doing it out of illness. You know, they're wanting to make sure that it's the best procedure for your loved one. You know, and I just want you to remember that because you know, sometimes it could be very tough on them. They may not show it, but you know, I think they do a very stand-up job in doing this, and obviously not getting emotionally involved either. So please just bear that in mind. Is there anyone who recognized the graveyard that was on the first slide of the PowerPoint? I told you that there would be a quiz, and I'll throw it in before. If you have been for Ziyarat, you may know, Imran. It is Salawat. Fully halal, don't worry. Okay, you've got three amazing people here, Maulana Sahib, Istiaq uncle, and Hasma. We're very thankful for you to give us your time this evening on what is a very emotional topic, and I think all three delivered beautifully. So if you can please recite a salawat for the three. We have overrun a few minutes, but what I will do is I will allow a question and answer session. So if you just, when you put your hand up, I'll give you the mic. We have quite a few viewers watching online, so if you don't mind speaking into the mic, and obviously the panel can then answer your question. Oh, sorry, one point.
Mu'minin, if you don't have this book, which is the Islamic laws according to the fatwas of His Eminence Al-Sayyid Ali Al-Hussein Al-Sistani, and it has been reviewed and written in English, and it is a fantastic book that every household should have for quick references. It's got everything that is regarding Masail. And this was annotated and translated by one of our young Jamaat members, Sheikh Muhammad Ali Ismail. It is a fantastic book. It is available through the World Federation, and I would highly recommend that please each and every household should have this book. Everything is in there for your clear reference. Asante.
Just keep hold of the mic. So that's...
बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। मैं उर्दू में आपको एक सवाल करता हूँ मौलाना साहब। जब हम नमाज मैयत पढ़ते हैं तो वाजिब है ना कि हमको सभी को पढ़ना है, सिर्फ वो जो पेश इमाम है वो नहीं पढ़ाता है, मैंने कहीं को देखा है उसके पास में मैं खड़ा होता हूँ, नहीं पढ़ते, चुपा चुप खड़े रहते हैं, लेकिन उनको बताओ कि ये पढ़ना वाजिब है.
The question is that is it wajib for everybody to recite namaz-e-mayyat himself? So yes, this is a wajib. As I mentioned, that this is a wajib. If you can't recite in detail, few words or shorts, and you can recite that short namaz-e-mayyat. Or you don't know this short one also, so follow to Pesh Namaz. Maulana who is reciting, follow to him, recite with him.
I've got 3 questions. Okay. First, I apologize.
Second, Haji sir.
I can't speak one time. No. You know, Ishtiaq is doing his team very good job. Another thing, everybody should pray for Amir Rauji, who has done the job for many, many years. Even at night, somebody is dead, he will go to coroner's house and get signed. But we don't remember him. He's not well, so I think we should pray for him. Okay. Another thing I wanted to tell you, we got this company from King's Lane who does in the, what do you call, in the Kabristan, the stones, okay? I inquired for my wife. Every company was asking me 2.5, 3,500 pounds. But then I met Muhammad Nanji. He did brown one for his mother, was 1,300, 400. Usually it's over 4,000. I'm doing for my wife, it's costing me 1,000 pounds with all the writing. I have a catalog. I told the Jamaat people, I got a catalog. Why you don't put the catalog into the notice board so people can do it instead of paying 3,500 pounds? Another thing I wanted to ask you, for many, many years, 15, 20 years, I've been fighting why you don't get people to become PBS member. And they always, whenever they want to become, they say, pay 3 years, 4 years. I said, okay, if I pay 4 years, I'm alive. You see? So what you call is, in case our community person die, okay, it's our Jamaat responsibility to bury him if he can't afford. So I think they should understand, if today they say that, okay, PBS, you can become member from today, all right? You will see 15, 20, 30 people will become a member. You see extra money you get in your kitty. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We'll discuss it and we'll pass the information on to the office bearers to deal with.
So I guess the first question was regarding PBS. That statement that was there on the slide, kafan cost is not covered. Yeah, I've been PBS member for this many years. I didn't know that. And the reason why I don't know is because I feel that the communication from PBS is not good. There is no clarity of what is covered and what isn't covered, and it's important that that is clarified for each member. That's a separate thing regarding the PBS. But Mukhi Saab, I think you mentioned that there's four washes to get someone to become tahir. Was that a slip of tongue? Because there's only 3 wajib ghusls. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the first is just a general wash. Yeah. Okay.
When person is going through sakarat, obviously you know you're more qualified in fiqh than I am. Okay, during sakarat, the body will release oil, and to remove that oil, it is the first wash without any niyat.
Yeah.
Once that has been done, once the oils have been removed, then the first ghusl becomes the wajib ghusl, followed by the next one, and the final one.
Correct. I just didn't want it to remain as a confusion for people, because that's what I heard. So I just want to make sure that
For the younger generation, it is strongly recommended that we start with 4, but the last 3 are the wajib ones.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, and I guess this can be clarified by Maulana Sahab. Generally, when we go towards the graveyard, you see people constantly standing in front of the janazah, and perhaps some light can be shed on that particular aspect.
Yeah, this is a good question. When we say tashiyya janaza, tashiyya mean itself is that follow to janaza. So sometime, I don't know why this is, that we are going, making lines and things like this. Also, we are not, sometime I saw that we are not giving importance to walk behind janaza. This is a very important, and every step is a very important step, and sawab is for tashiyya janaza. I thought maybe we feel that, okay, so we can't reach to kafan or mayyat. So this is, otherwise important is that walk behind mayyat.
Yeah, the other thing was regarding, I think Maulana Sahab touched upon the paying importance to the wajib, and obviously then if we can do the mustahab, then we do the mustahab, and sometimes we tend to mix culture with what we want to actually achieve. In terms of makruhat as well, regarding women going and standing at the time of burial, obviously ultimately is an individual choice, but that is presumably makruh from what I've read. I may be incorrect.
Yeah, this is actually here what I saw, that ladies go there, but mostly when ladies are, first thing I want to make clear that what I saw, alhamdulillah, all wajibats are going properly. So not any wajib is going to miss. So then if there is something in our culture, I don't think anything what we are doing is wrong. If our culture is this, but mustahabat is also, but alhamdulillah wajibat are not missing. So this issue is we need to check and we need to discuss that when on the day of on the time of burial, ladies are going there, so what is happen? But when they are there, so I saw that they are standing far from mayyat. So this is an issue that we need to discuss in later.
I have just received a message regarding when talqin is being recited. Why do we have to cross hands over, and when the deceased name comes, why do we have to shake the shoulders 3 times?
Yeah, as I said, this is not necessary that we understand reason or this purpose of this, but what I think is that this is making attention, that be careful that these things are happening, and we are making aware to you and ourselves also that yes, who we are and what is our need there. So this is like we say to a live person, okay, be careful. So this is like we are shaking his or her shoulder, that be careful. So this is like only making attention of this for him, for mayyat and for ourselves also.
Okay.
Shukriya.
Thank you. I've got a question.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for the knowledgeable panel, for the very insightful presentation. The one question I have to ask really is, are there any restrictions, once all the wajibats are completed, are there any restrictions on where the body is buried? The reason I ask this is, as the younger generation, you know, with environment, land mass being so small, there's now this new movement of natural forestation where bodies are buried, the forests are allowed to grow above the bodies, and therefore the land is used, the bodies are regenerated, you know, and everything like that. So are we restricted to be buried in graveyards, or are we able to move to a new way of being buried where the land can be utilized?
As Sharia viewpoint, this is important is burial. And second is, I was reading now also that this is that you must give respect to Mayyit. Otherwise, you can take it and you can bury it in your back garden or everywhere you want. But when we say this respect of Mayyit, so respect of Mayyit is that we bury on a proper Qabristan. As you know that people try to, for example, Darussalam Qabristan or important Qabristan where lots of people are going for Fatiha. So this is wajib is you must bury that this body is a safe and also smell and other things. This dead body don't hurt to live people. So this is a wajib. But for a respect, best way is that we bury in a proper Qabristan.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I have 3 questions, and the first one is, if you said a lot about family members, what if the person that has died is the only one of their family left? So like he's the last one, the youngest one, and he has no other close relatives. No, like it's only further relatives.
So if you don't have any family members, very close family members, then you go to the nearest next generation, yeah, or generation behind, who are your relatives. So they'll look after you.
So further, like really far away cousins.
Uncle, yeah, that's right, yes.
Okay, and my second question is, most of the time people say being buried in Najaf gets away your grave hisab. Is that true?
Sorry, say that again?
In your grave, when it's dark and then they question you, if you're buried in Najaf, I have heard that these questions won't be questioned to you. You won't be questioned any of these questions if you were buried in Najaf.
No, as far as my understanding is, okay, everybody is going to be questioned. Everybody is going to be questioned, no matter what. At the end of the day, when you think about it, right, when Ayatollah Khomeini, when he passed away, when he was buried as well, and when an ordinary person is buried here in Peterborough, what has been recited? Talqeen. For the person buried in Peterborough. And Ayatollah Khomeini buried there in Iran, yeah? What was he recited? Talqeen. So when at the death, nobody's given any preference. Everybody's been treated equally and asked the equal questions. And your third question?
Are there any other restrictions between women and men in the ghusl?
Yes, they're very, very different. Yes, they are.
Thank
You won't understand now. When you grow up, you will understand, inshallah.
The first, I've got 3 questions as well. The first question was on, I think I might have misunderstood, but the conditions of the ghusl that you have to do if you touch the mayyit. It must be a mayyit ghusl that you said?
Yeah.
Just the clarity on the conditions on when it's wajib on you to do. The second point was the 40 days. So we do this jalisma and all this sort of stuff. So the highly recommended acts or anything that is very highly recommended to do during those 40 days, and if there's a significance to those 40 days in the way that we do our jalismas and everything else. And the final thing is, from Maulana Sahib, if what could we do better? I think you mentioned something along the lines of walking behind the mayyat, something like that. So is there anything that you have observed that we could do better at, and maybe we could then arrange from the Ghusl Kafan team to say how we can improve? So as a member of the public, if I'm standing in front, we run towards the front, we make a line, everything else, but Maulana Sahib just said it's recommended to stand behind the mayyat. Things like that. Any other observations that we can then concentrate on and try and do better and do justice to?
Abbas, if I can just go back onto the ghusl of Bas Mayat, which I mentioned, is the Aga's ruling 510. If someone touches, i.e., makes part of his body come into contact with the body of a dead person after it has become cold, but before it has been given ghusl, he must perform ghusl-e Mas Mayat for touching the corpse, irrespective of whether he touches it while in sleep or awake, voluntarily or involuntarily. If one's nail or a bone touches a nail or a bone of the corpse, he must perform ghusl.
Yeah, I think we can't say generally that touching of mayyat is ghusl masih mayyat wajib. First is that in beginning till the body of mayyat come cold. So I saw it can take about half an hour, 40 minutes. This first part of half an hour, 40 minutes. Those people that touch in that situation, ghusl is not a wajib for them. And then when body come cold, till ghusl, this part is wajib. And when done, ghusl done, then if somebody touch, this is not a wajib. So we have a three different part. But especially I request that for ihtiyat it is better that we are not sure that this body is come cold or not. So try to do ghusl. But thing is that ghusl is a wajib for your namaz. So sometimes some people they say for namaz mayyat this is not a wajib. For namaz mayyat wuzu is not a wajib. So if you need ghusl masih mayyat, don't worry. And for example, if one body need ghusl masih mayyat, and if he go there, so maybe he miss namaz mayyat. So in that situation, this is not necessary that you do this ghusl masih mayyat for namaz mayyat. You can do for wajib namaz. Yeah, this is, inshallah, we will sit down, we will discuss, because when people want give this, what you say, shoulder to mayyat, this is also very important. But how we go this from where we start this giving shoulder, where we end. But as a person done this sawab, this is a very important thing. But as he done sawab, instead for giving shoulder, he go again in front of mayyat, he come back. And this round, so for example, start from right shoulder, come back, go to end of front side, this left shoulder, and then come back. And if you want to give shoulder again, so start from behind, not go forward of mayyat. This is not again a wajib. But this is a mustahab that walk behind mayyat. And also there in Qabristan, I saw that when we are giving this manzil, so people front, they are going to qabr. And because parking and things like this. But if you come back when we are taking body, we are also giving this manzil. So stand behind when mayyat is put up, then go and walk behind of mayyat. Because I saw in Qabristan especially that lots of people like us, they go first to qabr. This is a very good that I try myself, everybody I go, that first once see this, what is a qabr. This is because you can see close before a mayyat, and then come back and follow to mayyat. This was a second. And inshallah, we can sit down, we can discuss about, we can make a more place. Because in Pakistan, India, this is kafan. For example, if you want for a kafan, more people give shoulder, so we can make more space for this kafan. Yeah.
I think it was the 40-day.
Oh yeah, 40 days. I think is that 40 day. This I think other than Imam Hussain alayhi salam, these 40 days are like our culture. This is not any importance on that base. But for 3 days, this is as in Sharia viewpoint that 3 days you try to give food of that family whose beloved one passed away. So 3 days we have in this. Otherwise, in 40 days we are sitting, and this is part of our culture because our people are going to recite Fatiha. Those they were not able, they are. So this is cultural thing. Other than Imam Hussain alayhi salam, you see that we don't have a chalisma of Holy Prophet, or for Imam Hussain alayhi salam, this is something special.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from the ladies. Is there any limitation of what can be buried with the mayyat? So, Quran, Tasbih, is there a limit or? Also, while Maulana Sahib's about to answer, if anyone wants any more food, please can you come and take it? The volunteers would like to tidy up. So if anyone wants any more food, please, I'll give a few minutes and then it's going to get taken.
You see that putting something else with kafan, this is not prohibited. Haram, this is not a haram, or this is. But be careful. For example, some people, they say, can we put it Quran? So what is the benefit of putting a Quran? This as a few days or a few months later, it will come this part of this लैंड और खाक हो जाएगा ये सारा सिलसिला. तो मेरे ख्याल में उसमें कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है. Important thing is our amal, what we take with us, and kafan is enough when we have a written. For example, writing of, this is writing of Dua Joshan Kabir is a very good thing that we need to write on our kafan. And then this is not only that we buy from Karbala or Najaf. This is, I saw that pious people, they write their own Dua Joshan Kabir on their kafan. Because when they are writing 1,000 name of Allah, so then they remember that, yes, we are writing our kafan. I don't have my own, but I saw this. Some people that they are writing their own kafan.
Momini, remember when Ishaq was telling regarding the registration of the mayyat? I will request Ishaq Bhai to tell you about the present circumstances about the spaces regarding the dual cover.
At the moment, we've got very limited space left in this cemetery here at Eastfield. Now it is, before we used to have 3 layers. We could bury 3 people on the same grave. So what you're going to do is, like when you buy a grave, you're buying a title deed for that grave. Before, instead of 3, they've just turned to 2 now because the soil and everything's very hard now. So we highly recommend that if anybody passes on in your family, you have a double grave. So in the future, the second person can be buried on top of the first one. And it'll be, I know this sounds a bit harsh, but the second would be a lot cheaper, I'm afraid. At the moment, the price of burial and everything is going sky high. And as you know, the price of property, the land is very expensive. So everything is going very, very high.
Thank you. I'm only going to end up with 2 more questions, if that's okay. Then if you have any more, while we're tidying up and stuff, because I did promise the volunteers would be out by 9.
Assalamu alaikum. Maulana Sahib, this is a question for you, and perhaps it could be incorporated in the future discussion. But where a child dies and there is two parents, who is the wali in that case?
And this is a difficult question, how a child can have a two... Wali is for a child, wali is a father. So this is a clear thing, not this. Yes, Mursawi was...
Assalamu alaikum. The question I want to ask is, how many bodies are allowed from Islamic point of view to be buried under one grave? Is there a limit?
Yes. No, this is not a limit of this. You can...
Another question I want to ask you was, once somebody is already buried, one person, and now that he knows, the person who's left behind, knows it's allowed to do two burials in the grave. From Islamic point of view, is it possible to open the grave again, or you can't?
Opening the grave mean that you can't...
no, open the grave itself for dead burial.
Yeah, I understand. This is a very important question, that when you are burying second person, be careful that first body is not opening. This is so
Okay, but
that
it is
part
allowed
is...
to put another body.
Yeah, you can put it.
Okay, I would again like to thank Maulana Saib for his time, for his insight and his knowledge. I'd like to also thank Istiaq Uncle for gracing us, not on the golf course, but here, and really swinging the questions out of park. And also Muki Saab, who we can't see at the moment, so it means I need to book an appointment for Specsavers as well. Thank you for his time. What I would like to do is, if possible, I'd like to give the mic back to Maulana Saib so you can end the program with a dua.
I will say that we must thanks to Mission that to organize and arrange this program, and I like this type of program as he arranged last week and now. This is so thank you very much for your this time. And I will say here that we are talking about Mayyat, we are talking about death, but one point I will say to you, we must remember that time and that part when our Imam Zainul Abidin al-Islam was bind on the back of a camel, and he was not able to do all these things what we are talking. And when Hazrat Zainab Kubra Salamullah alayha, she came to Mayyat of her brother, what she said, she turned toward Medina and she said, "Oh Nana, look to your grandson, look to your Hussein." So we must remember that time when this was a Karbala, and one Karbala we have these days in Gaza, when thousands of children are going to die, and children are writing their own name on their own arms. When we will die, our parents can recognize who we are. And I was reading about one young man. He said, "I have 2 children and my brother have 2 children. We have separate homes. We divide our children. One child I give to my brother and one child of my brother I take with me." Why? If one house, when family died through this bombing, other family have one of us also live. So this is a Karbala, and we pray, "Oh Allah, send your representative, for your Imam of our time, that these zulm can go to and इंशाअल्लाह परवरदिगार आप सब अहबाब को तौफीकात खैर में इजाफ़ा फरमाए और वाकई ये चीज़ हमारे सेंटर के एक रौनक होती है। हम अपनी ज़िंदगी भी यहाँ गुजारें और आखिरत के लिए भी हम very peace of mind that alhamdulillah we have a community that if we passed away, because I saw here in Peterborough that those people, as this young man was asking, I saw here those ladies that they don't had any single family member here in Peterborough, but as Peterborough Jamaat gave them importance, I think that very big families attendance was not that much that these ladies or these people had attendance in funeral. So this is good, alhamdulillah. May Allah give tawfiq to our youth like Misam and others, and those they are working on this from 30 years and more. So inshallah, Allah will give reward to them. بحق محمد وآله الطاهرين. محمد وآله محمد.
I am emphasizing again also, the treasurer has requested me, if you are not a member of the PBS, you're humbly requested, please join as soon as possible. Now, as soon as we say, please gusal karwama આવે છે, ટીમમાં join થાવું છે, ના મને બીક લાગે છે. His dad is not going to do anything to you. So I strongly request you, we need volunteers, as many as possible, so that we can take a rota system, which we have. But presently, due to working circumstances and things like that, we have to sometimes ask other volunteers, i.e., sometimes these volunteers who bring the body have to go back to work. So the doors are open. Take your time. But I request youngsters, youths, and I think the same applies with the ladies section as well. We would request young ladies strongly to join the Ghusl Kafan committee, because you will be the next inheritors of this Jamaat, and you will need to pass the information to the following generation. It will be highly appreciated. Bar Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad sallallahu. Yes, Haji Hussain.
I ask you the question. You said about PBS, what you call the treasurer wants to pay the money. I asked you 15, 20 years ago, I had a lot of argument with the committee that why we don't allow members and ask them pay for 3 years, for 5 years. If in 5 years, if they would have been dead, PBS would have not paid them. Okay?
Look,
so why you don't become new member, start from today, and I'll tell you, guarantee 20, 30 people. You see how much money will come in your kitty extra. That's my request.
That's fine. We'll take it up with the office bearers. Unfortunately, the Ghusl team don't have any say in this matter. They are mere volunteers and have volunteered themselves for the last 33 years. They're not in charge of PBS. It's just a humble request from them for the legality side of things. I'd like to end with a salawat, please.
Can I humbly request you to all please join me in reciting Surah Fatiha for Kul Marumins Al-Fatiha. Bismillah.